Personally, I have higher expectations for myself. The $1 million prize would ensure I am able to attend any university of my choosing. I should add that while the total drama series is statistically popular, I believe it is directly responsible for the troubled behavior of today's youth. I thank the selection committee for their time.
Acceptable.
This is the real me.
No, unacceptable.
Another doozy. I gotta stop doing this to myself. But once again, similar to the Jasmine video, I didn't have a suitable way to get my thoughts across, though I think I can work with something here. Though honestly, the hardest part was just coming up with a proper analogy that made sense. We'll get to that later. But yes, it's a Scarlett video this time around. Why? Two reasons. One, I noticed that I've pretty much done a video on every major villain in the series so far. Might as well keep going, I guess, with Scarlett. Two, from glancing at the tier list I did, I do wish I did switch the placements of a few characters a lot better. Nothing drastic, but maybe just bump some people ahead or below someone else and so on. And seeing that I placed Scarlett in the E tier, and from watching a little bit more of Paketeu for the Jasmine video, it makes me rethink and ask myself, was Scarlett actually that bad? Let's find out. I honestly may not have much to work with here, but hopefully everything can come together by the end of this video. From looking at the title of the video, it might confuse some of you, so let's get into that. Once more, I pretty much had to rewatch Paketeu to get a full understanding of Jasmine, but that doesn't mean I wasn't paying attention to the other characters. And from what I said before, Jasmine is pretty much the best character to come from that season. And then in comparison, Scarlett is actually okay. Like, she's not terrible, honestly. She's kind of just there compared to the rest of the cast, and while they're off being stupid, Scarlett is just there for the ride, especially when Max is involved. She's immediately shown to be the brains when it comes to anything, but still takes a back seat because she's not the leader of the team, Jasmine is. Scarlett is just the right person you can count on. She's a good ally. And I do like her I don't really care type attitude. Like when she casually mentions that she knew that Sammy took Amy's place, but didn't care to say anything, was just going along with it for shits and giggles.
Sammy's been pretending to be Amy the whole time. I thought we all knew that.
Like, that's fun to watch. Small moments like that make her enjoyable. And then her slowly getting more and more frustrated with Max's, well, existence overall. So where does the bad part come into play? Right here, pretty much.
This is the real me. The Scarlett that I've kept hidden until now. Biding my time, waiting to strike. I am evil!
No, permission not granted.
You know, I still can't really wrap my head around on what went wrong here. See, the unfortunate thing is that for Scarlett, she doesn't really work as a villain. She's pretty bad. You know, it feels weird saying that. Bad villain. You think two negatives would equal a positive, but logically that wouldn't fly with Scarlett, because she's already went flying out of a cannon with Max. So where and what is the problem, you might think? Why does she not work as a villain, but is fine as just a regular person? It's because what we started off with didn't really seem like we ended with the same character. It feels like this Scarlett was not the same Scarlett we knew before, and yes, blah blah. Well, that's because it's her true colors, her true self. If you look in her audition tape, you see knives thrown at the globe. Oh. Yes, I get that. Okay, let's put it like this, and I hope you guys can follow along. See, what made Scarlett who she was kinda just got thrown away the second she became a villain. Her villain side is pretty much just evil and a villain for the sake of being such, and nothing more. Like, that's really it. They took the interesting part about her and threw it away with no real care. I find it a little eye-glaring in comparison to other antagonists. For example, Courtney. If you do go back an island, you will see that Courtney can be pretty brash without thinking sometimes, but she does it in the best for her team or just herself. That's how Courtney is. And then you go to action, and you can definitely see that the aggressive aspect of her has been dialed up. But not to an insane degree that doesn't make any sense for her, and not without reason in taking away her core part of her character overall. And I think that's where the problem lies with Scarlett. Yes, it was hinted throughout the season multiple times that she was pretty evil in some shape or form. I get that, but they dialed her up way too much, more than what was needed, to the point that her core character of being calm, in the background, taking things slow, was thrown away to make this new character, essentially. In this case, less would have been more. I have no problem with Scarlett being a villain, and maybe even being evil for the purpose that the season needed one. Because, for example, as much as I love her, you can easily make the comparison that Heather from Island was also evil for the sake of being evil and nothing else really. But why I say that works is because we started off with Heather being a villain, selfish, ego-driven, and this carries up and down throughout her time in the first generation to the point where she's a winner and has her own ending. And it still makes sense for Heather, because when she beats Alejandro, it wasn't because, oh, he messed with everyone and deserves justice. No, her attitude was pretty much, he thinks he can beat me at my own game, and that $1 million is mine. It still fits Heather's character by the end. And this still holds through to Revenge and a bit of All-Stars. She didn't need to be a new character by the time of her ending. Just herself, and that's what was needed. Scarlett, in the beginning, is not the same Scarlett by the end. And you could say, oh, character development. But again, what we were given at the start didn't really get used by the end. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing Scarlett as a villain, but the execution was done poorly. So by the end of this, Scarlett was a good ally to her team, to Max, and to herself, but falls flat as a villain and is quite bad. Now, is she the worst? Most of you know my thoughts on Mal, so he still holds that record. Because at least for Scarlett's case, she's the villain for an episode, and that's that. While Mal takes up a whole season. I'd rather take just one bad episode, if not like just one bad moment really, than 11 to 13 terrible and questionable episodes. So Scarlett, overall, isn't bad actually. Just the main thing that they were going for her could have been better. But we got what we got, and I think it's not too bad. Just could have been a little bit better with, like, the execution and, like, the big payoff or the finale for her character. That could have been a lot better, but oh well. Yeah, by this point I'm just kind of rambling. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know what to do with all the links that I provide and everything like that. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else, you know what to do. Bye.